I am sitting in a forest. I feel the breeze on my face. I hear the sound of a passing stream. The forest is speaking. The earth is speaking. She is telling us that we have no more time. Where the forest is protected, our peace is protected, our future is protected. The future of humanity tomorrow is tied to the fate of the forest today. Forests provide half of our oxygen. They provide rain for farms a continent away. They are a first protection from the impact of climate change.
The vision of our elders has been to protect the land.
Aló, aló. Mirador, mirador.
But this precious land is in danger from illegal mining and logging, and the people who try to defend the land are killed in great numbers every year.
Kwangu haki ya ardhi ina muhimu sana kwa sababu haki ya ardhi, upatikanaji ipo ndani ya ardhi.
Patuli pose pa ako kapi amopa pipu ako pila wa te pese rekle te wene tatini we da la aklebe we da ako tamuto we la rido kwasim la ya kaka kone we metale
where indigenous peoples and local communities govern the land, a third of the planet. Ecosystems remain intact.
It's the only conservancy in Masai Mara that is community-driven, community-managed, community-led, where people, wildlife, and livestock live together in harmony.
La communauté s'organise pour gérer sa forêt, pour gérer les espèces qui sont dans la forêt, mais aussi pour s'organiser de manière à recevoir l'assistance internacional.
La cogestión lo que hace es conservar, trabajan en conjunto los vigilantes con los guardaparques para que hagan más fuerza, ¿no? En tema de intervención.
Deciding in a trust that'll be owned by the First Nations, participating in the First Nations. That gives us real independence.
We are the custodians for the future of the health of our planet.
My dream is for Sungai Utik to receive legal recognition and for indigenous people everywhere to be recognized as wisdom keepers and rightful owners of their customary territory for a sustainable future.
Para el pueblo indígena hay lleno de vidas, lleno de recursos que nos ha sostenido nuestra vida por miles de años y ha sostenido de dar aire, el agua a todo el mundo que estamos aquí pisando en esa tierra al global.
In my short lifetime, we have gone through a world where few people knew about indigenous culture to one where people are starting to listen deeply to what you have to say. We have so much to be proud of and so much work is still left to do. The earth is speaking. Are you listening?
Welcome back to the Nature for Life Hub. I'm Joey Conway, and I'll be your host for today's Nature for Life Hub session on creating a planetary safety net. In this first session, we'll focus on how important local action is for protecting, restoring, and sustainably managing nature, and for creating a planetary safety net for humanity. In the first segment, we'll be part of the celebration of the UNDP-led Equator Prize Award ceremony. We'll hear from 10 prize-winning organizations from around the world who are protecting, restoring, and sustainably managing nature, and in the process, helping to build a safety net for themselves and the broader world. Join me in congratulating this year's Equator Prize winners. Let's listen in.
Welcome to the Equator Prize Awards 2022. That was an Indigenous blessing and dance performance, the Ashia dance from the people of Yazuri in Ghana. Thank you so much for a reverential blessing and joyful performance that allows me to officially open the 13th Equator Prize Award ceremony with delight and appreciation. I will be your host. My name is Nilafar Hedayat. Now, we are here to celebrate the outstanding nature-based solutions that 10 Indigenous and local communities around the globe champion and that inspire all of us as we look forward and carve a path through the pressing global crises that we experience in the world today. Steadfast, determined, and full of courage, we strive onwards. We are also celebrating their spirit, their courage, and their resilience in the face of adversity. Those recognized by the Equator Prize will collectively form a planetary safety net by suggesting ways in which we should redefine our relationship with nature and provide inspiration to shape a new green economy and holistic systems of engagement with each other in this blue marble that we call home. Today, we are grateful to hear from 10 Indigenous and local communities from 9 different countries. They're going to talk about their solutions and how they're implementing things to tackle one issue we are all going to be challenged by in our coming years: the attack on our world's biodiversity and the looming climate crisis. What makes our winners of the Equator Prize standout groups is that their solutions are innovative and inclusive and intimately tied to their knowledge and local traditions that we can all learn from, but we will certainly all benefit from. These are scalable, replicable, and more than anything, thought-provoking and encouraging solutions. But before hearing from each community, let's hear first from the UNDP's administrator, Achim Steiner.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues and friends, on behalf of the Equator Initiative Partnership, it is a privilege to welcome you to this year's Equator Prize ceremony. This year we mark the 20th anniversary of the first Equator Prize. It is a unique recognition that showcases the often incredible efforts by indigenous peoples and local communities to advance nature-based solutions that are helping to address our climate crisis and biodiversity loss. Humans continue to decimate our natural world. 3/4 of the land-based environment and 66% of the marine environment have by now been significantly altered by human actions. Moreover, in the face of a climate crisis that is hitting harder and faster than many projections, countries are looking to pinpoint new solutions. For instance, that includes grey infrastructure, such as seawalls that aim to hold back rising sea levels. Yet, human-made alterations can create unintended knock-on effects. They may protect one community or one area. However, they can cause serious damage to neighboring communities, upstream communities, and our natural world, as powerful floodwaters can bypass artificial barriers. A deceptively simple question must be posed. What alternatives are available? Nature, I contend, is our greatest engineer and ally. This principle is a defining feature of this year's Equator Prize winners, selected from over 500 applications from 109 countries. For instance, look to the Coordinadora Nacional para la Defensa del Ecosistema Manglar in Ecuador, one of this year's winners. Bringing together community leaders, ecologists, and researchers from Afro-Indigenous communities, it focuses on mangrove restoration. These mangroves serve as wildlife hotspots and carbon sinks, while also providing a natural buffer against more frequent storms. It is an example of working with nature and respecting how these ecosystems function, from source to sea and from ridge to reef. Or consider another of this year's winners, the Sungbashir Women's Cooperative. Led by indigenous women, this cooperative is creating a sustainable shea butter value chain in the drought-prone region of northern Ghana. It has provided over 800 women with new livelihood opportunities, while no-take zones are protecting biodiversity. The Equator Prize is not a one-off recognition. It provides continuous support to winners so that they can grow, so that their solutions can be scaled up to advance the global goals ultimately. To take just one example, the Sal Family Foundation is partnering with Equator Prize winners to expand women-led regenerative agriculture across 5 states in India. Or look to Nature-Based Solution Database, hosted by the Equator Prize, which provides open access to 500 solutions that can be tailored to local contexts. COP27 in Egypt gathered countries and communities to discuss our collective response to climate change. For too long, developing countries are asked to continually scale up their climate ambitions. Developed countries must now deliver on the promise of $100 billion per year to co-finance the efforts of developing countries. And this is a floor, not a ceiling. This will be vital also for indigenous peoples and local communities who need more tangible support to adapt to a changing climate. We are also seeing how climate change and the degradation of our natural world is increasingly moving to the domain of jurisprudence and constitutional law. The United Nations Development Programme is working closely with indigenous peoples and local communities to strengthen their rights to own, manage, and control land and water resources. This is a proven way to protect our natural world, reduce inequalities, empower women, and provide new livelihood opportunities. Dear colleagues and friends, to this year's Equator Prize winners, we warmly congratulate you. To our primary sponsors this year, the governments of Norway and Germany, and to our many partners in the Equator Initiative, we are profoundly grateful for your support to help us shine a light on this year's winners. And to everyone joining us today, think about how you can play a role in protecting and restoring our planet by visiting the Nature for Life Hub. Humanity has spent far too long trying to bend nature to our will. As the next Global Biodiversity Framework takes shape, this year's Equator Prize winners shows us how we must work with nature, not against it, and with each other, and not against each other. Thank you.
And now, here with us today to introduce the Equator Prize winners in the Creating a Planetary Safety Net category is Chay Surui, a fearless young activist born of the Surui people in Rondônia, Brazil. Chay is a stalwart of the rights and land of indigenous tribes in the Amazon and a restless protector, fighting climate injustice and deforestation in the Amazon. Let's hear from Chay Surui.
A floresta tropical amazônica, a maior floresta tropical do mundo, está falando. Estamos ouvindo? Já perdemos 1/3 das florestas de nosso mundo, e a área é o dobro do tamanho dos Estados Unidos. Todos os anos é a mesma história. Uma área de floresta tropical do tamanho do Uruguai, ou do Camboja, ou da Síria, ou de qualquer outro lugar é desmatada para a agricultura. 36 campos de futebol de floresta desmatadas a cada minuto. Em 2020, 18 milhões de hectares da Amazônia brasileira foram queimados. Uma área maior que 45 países. Quantos países de floresta precisamos perder antes de mudar de rumo? Em algum momento, deixaremos de ouvir essas mensagens, porque não haverá mais nada a ser limpo. Não haverá mais nada a ser queimado. Não restará nada de pé. Haverá apenas campos de gado e savanas vazias. O futuro da humanidade de amanhã está ligado ao destino das florestas de hoje. As florestas fornecem metade do nosso oxigênio, previnem a quebra do clima, sustentam a subsistência de cerca de 1 bilhão de pessoas e impulsionam os ciclos hídricos locais e regionais. As florestas nos protegerão do pior da mudança climática. As florestas são o nosso futuro. A saúde das florestas do mundo e a saúde da humanidade são uma e a mesma coisa. Os povos indígenas há muito reconhecem isso, e estudos recentes comprovam nossa gestão. As terras governadas por indígenas e comunidades locais ao redor do mundo, cerca de 1/3 do planeta, estão em grande parte intactas. Nós somos os guardiões do futuro, da saúde de nosso planeta. No entanto, essas terras não são imperiosas por mineração e extração ilegal de madeira, por roubo e coerção. E aqueles de nós que não defendem essas terras também estão sob ameaça. A floresta está falando, a terra está falando, ela está nos dizendo que não temos mais tempo. E ela nos diz que precisamos trabalhar com nossas florestas, nossos rios, nossos campos, nossos oceanos, para curá-los e para ajudá-la a criar uma rede de segurança para o planeta. Não é tarde demais. Os compromissos nacionais são importantes e muito bem-vindos. Eles ajudam a acelerar o progresso, mas a cura de nosso planeta só acontecerá com a sabedoria das mulheres e dos homens indígenas e com as ações das comunidades locais e dos povos indígenas ao redor do mundo. Todos nós devemos ouvi-los e apoiar suas soluções baseadas na natureza. Aos vencedores do Prêmio Equatorial deste ano, as comunidades de Rei de Chica, territórios de vida em Argentina, Organização de Mulheres Indígenas Unidas por uma Biodiversidade do Panamá e Bon Montour, MMT, seu trabalho para proteger e restaurar a vida na Terra, a biodiversidade e para construir uma rede de segurança planetária. É vital e insubstituível. Então, parabéns a todos vocês. Obrigada por apresentar ao público internacional novas narrativas para um futuro possível para a natureza, colocando a natureza e os povos indígenas e a comunidade local no centro, como deve ser.
Nokaikup ashpa mama ñawpa llaqta kan, lotep mana kan, prediup mana kan, wachachinaypi kan, yanta apej kan, llaqta sonqoy kashpa maypi tiyanku, mikuypaq yaku upyanaypaq chaypi apinayku. Ashpa mama kawsaq kan.
No canchis colla o cloyas, va.
Ore petei teta awa guarani.
Com, tolombón, tonocoteyutki y mapuches.
Nokaikup llaqta kawsaq ancha ñiti tiyan.
Está siendo vulnerado por leyes de estados que no nos representan.
Atacados por modelos extractivistas y de acumulación de riquezas, sostenidos por la deforestación a gran escala, los megaproyectos mineros y de hidrocarburos que erosionan nuestros ecosistemas y ponen en peligro nuestra salud.
Nokaikup ayshup ashpa mama Argentina manta kasitarpusqa ay sinchit tinkukuy tiyan. Kunan pacha ruana sumaq kuyuy kan.
Everima ure peteirami noyokureko peteirami nokureko pame enar pingua guyama vive guayinabe.
Leita yin rakiso amael chumuechi askuno ayin epun kulekeli wonta yin inkaniael filkemongen.
Crea puentes entre nuestras comunidades esparcidas en 3.5 millones de hectáreas de territorios a través de la red TICA.
Tinkanial pilke mangewe nielu inchinta yin mapumeo.
Suma yak tukuyku apes munanayku.
Petei techai ponaringuana pamepe tei epitigano.
Yafulu klealu kusomo kapuwentu yamawon sungumeo soy kme amulealo mongen.
Construimos liderazgos y armamos red para salvaguardar los espacios de vida, porque es nuestra herencia, y para la seguridad de todo el planeta, porque es nuestra identidad y nuestro legado.
Congratulations, Red Tica, Territorios de Vida in Argentina, for receiving the Equator Prize. You should be very, very proud of this. And you are, in fact, our first winners from Argentina. Now, one of the main goals of your Indigenous network is to ensure legal protection of your ancestral land and Indigenous territories. What steps are Red Tica taking to ensure that Indigenous rights to their lands and territories are protected?
Los Territorios de Vida en Argentina somos una organización política autónoma de pueblos indígenas que reúne a varios pueblos, entre lo que se encuentran los pueblos Coya o Cloya, los Cuon, los guaraníes, los Tonocoté, los Diaguita y los Mapuche. Defendemos el derecho al territorio al que pertenecemos ancestralmente y promovemos el reconocimiento político de los pueblos preexistentes que han sido los guardianes ancestrales. Esa es parte de nuestra misión. Logramos nuestro objetivo organizándonos políticamente en todo el país para que nuestra red vea reflejados sus derechos y para que las leyes se cumplan. Las mujeres somos parte integral de la protección de la naturaleza, de la madre tierra, de nuestros conocimientos ancestrales. Gracias al trabajo crucial de las mujeres estamos contribuyendo a la preservación, conservación, gestión y gobernanza de los territorios indígenas argentinos. Implementamos estrategias para fortalecer el espacio organizativo de nuestra red, promoviendo la formación de los guardianes comunitarios y, lo que es más importante, persiguiendo el objetivo del buen vivir, trabajando para integrar el conocimiento ancestral indígena en las políticas públicas. Al aceptar hoy el premio ecuatorial, nos gustaría dar las gracias a esta iniciativa ecuatorial del PNUD, este reconocimiento tan importante para los pueblos indígenas.
All right, onwards, we go to our second winner under the Equator Prize category, Creating a Planetary Safety Net, is also from the Latin America and Caribbean area, more specifically from Panama. Let's hear more from the wonderful women-led Organización de Mujeres Indígenas Unidas por la Biodiversidad de Panamá.
Babain maro binyar olo dirdiligote nana imar nasia nani dirdiligote tukan mala naside inmar durgan urbide niswa mala nagude sapi durgan urbide.
Los abuelos y abuelas cuando hablaban mucho de su wandra, que es su alma, su poder. Todos quieren ser como el espíritu del jaguar, porque primero que marca su territorio, tiene un liderazgo y en los cuentos pues forma parte de ese guardián, protector de ese territorio, y nosotros por eso su espíritu lo llevamos en la práctica, lo damos a conocer a nuestros hijos e hijas por medio de los cuentos.
Todo esto con el fin de preservar la biodiversidad a través de los relatos y cuentos ancestrales y para que cada niño aprenda de eso.
Nos consideramos guardianas porque somos esas transmisoras de los conocimientos en cuanto a nuestra forma de vivir, nuestras costumbres, nuestro idioma. Y eso pues nos ayuda a ser resistente en el tiempo.
Las mujeres indígenas participan en diferentes temas como cambio climático, CBD, derechos de los pueblos indígenas, derechos de las mujeres, temas de género.
También para empezar a ser escuchadas como mujeres indígenas y pueda llevar su liderazgo a diferentes espacios, tanto nacionales e internacionales.
La importancia de los intercambios radica en poder ser replicable estos proyectos en otras comunidades y que los beneficios lleguen igualmente a mujeres, niños, jóvenes y que se fortalezcan en liderazgo y empoderamiento de sus conocimientos tradicionales.
Somos vida, territorio, pertenencia e identidad cultural.
What an inspirational model. Congratulations, OMIUBP, the Organización de Mujeres Indígenas Unidad por la Biodiversidad de Panamá. This shows such incredible effort and persistence. Now, your work has resulted in promoting gender equality, intergenerational equality, and ecosystem conservation, whilst also preserving Indigenous heritage. What a medley of achievements. Brilliant. What is the key to such a comprehensive success story, though? And what transformations are you most passionate about seeing in our world and society?
Somos una organización dirigida por mujeres indígenas para mujeres indígenas. El trabajo comunitario está en el centro de nuestra organización, así como la revalorización del conocimiento tradicional y la transmisión de este conocimiento a la siguiente generación. La selección para el premio equatorial no solo reconoce este esfuerzo de equipo, sino también valida las contribuciones que las mujeres indígenas estamos haciendo para contrarrestar nuestras amenazantes crisis planetarias. Nuestro éxito no habría sido posible si no fuera por las mujeres que se comprometen con sus comunidades todos los días. Mujeres que creen en el cambio positivo. Es posible en la sociedad. Mujeres jóvenes que aprenden y crecen junto a mujeres más experimentadas. Nos apasiona crear oportunidades para las mujeres, para que cada día ocupen más espacios para la toma de decisiones dentro y fuera de las comunidades en beneficio de nuestro planeta y para su empoderamiento. Somos mujeres indígenas con sabiduría, fuerza, identidad y lucha. Somos la unión. Gracias a la iniciativa ecuatorial del PNUD por querer y apoyar el trabajo de nuestra organización liderizada por mujeres indígenas.
Now, we turn to the Democratic Republic of the Congo in Africa. Let us take a closer look at the work of our friends at Mbumontour.
Bonobo était au village, Bonobo. À cause de sa dette qu'il ne voulait pas payer, il s'enfuya dans la forêt.
J'entendais l'histoire par mon papa qui me disait les bonobos et les humains, on était sortis de même descendance.
Nous, on a toujours vécu avec eux, depuis des temps immémoriaux. Mais pourquoi ne pas garder notre façon de vivre coutumier? Les bonobos ont leur terroir, nous aussi le nôtre, et on évolue. Et c'est ce que nous avons fait, et ça marche. À notre avis, le modèle classique qui consiste à créer des parcs sans consultation des communautés locales, à notre avis, ce modèle a montré ses limites. En ce sens que les populations locales ne trouvent pas leur compte. Tout a été fait dans un bureau climatisé. On identifie une région où il y a eu une biodiversité très riche et on dit désormais, on va la protéger. Tout se fait comme si, dans cette partie, la nature est vierge. Il y a des gens qui y habitaient, qu'on n'a pas consulté, devaient aller ailleurs et les gens sont partis.
Nous ne voulons pas faire la conservation pour la conservation, mais nous voulons concilier la conservation et le développement socio-économique des communautés.
Parce qu'on ne peut pas faire la conservation tant que la population qui vit en ce milieu est pauvre, tant qu'elle n'a pas mangé. Mais si on fait la conservation, protéger la biodiversité, disposer des ressources pour la communauté et essayer de développer les systèmes qui existent, cela réussirait.
C'est dans ce sens que l'ONG a formé les gens dans chaque village. Jusqu'aujourd'hui, Mbumontour continue à doter tous les villages, toutes les communautés avec les semences, afin d'aider à la communauté à diversifier les régions.
Notre approche est différente de l'approche classique. Nous avons créé en quelque sorte des réserves qui sont gérées directement par les communautés locales. Les bonobos, c'est un patrimoine national, c'est un patrimoine mondial. Et si les gens ont fait des sacrifices, il y a lieu quand même de penser à eux d'une façon ou d'une autre. Il faut que les gens sentent que vous êtes avec eux, en tout lieu et en toutes circonstances. Il faut d'abord aimer son terroir avant de faire ce qu'on est en train de faire. Il faut vraiment aimer le terroir.
I am in awe of the breathtaking land that you call home. I have had the privilege of seeing it for myself, and I know that the fruits of your labor will be a treasure for the whole world. We recognize you here today. Now, in many parts of the world, popular conservation models put wildlife and habitat preservation ahead of community well-being, separating conserved spaces from community spaces. Mbu Montour is changing the narrative of nature and the role of indigenous people and local communities in the DRC by putting the well-being of local communities at the core of their work. So how has that made your organization successful, MMT?
Aucune initiative de conservation ne peut réussir sans une collaboration étroite avec la communauté locale. Mbu Montour a compris que les peuples autochtones et les communautés locales sont les premiers acteurs sur lesquels il faut compter pour la conservation de la biodiversité et la lutte contre le changement climatique. Enfin, de réussir dans notre travail, nous devons centrer le bien-être de nos communautés et valoriser les connaissances endogènes qui nous ont permis de vivre en harmonie avec la nature.
De plus, en centrant le bien-être des communautés locales dans notre travail, nous faisons de la conservation de la faune sauvage un moteur de notre développement socio-économique. Nous sommes en mesure de mener notre travail en accord avec le Code forestier congolais afin de créer des concessions forestières communautaires locales qui sont non seulement reconnues par le gouverneur provincial de Mai-Ndombe, mais aussi pour s'assurer que nous avons le consentement libre, préalable et informé des communautés locales.
Plusieurs communautés voisines ont déjà été inspirées pour rejoindre le processus de foresterie communautaire. Nous considérons le succès de notre modèle comme une étude des cas pour la conservation de la biodiversité, la lutte contre le changement climatique et la réduction de la pauvreté dans nos communautés.
Merci à l'initiative Équateur du PNUD de reconnaître notre travail et le rôle central des peuples autochtones et des communautés locales pour la conservation et le développement durable.
Now, each one of our honored Equator Prize recipients are uniquely powerful, but to face the consequences of the climate crisis that is ahead of us, that power must combine and organize to give us a chance of limiting the worst of the climate crisis. With this view, we, the rest of the world, have to listen. With open hearts, we have to pull on our resources of time, of energy, of willingness. And to that, our winners have this message for us.
Nous savons que le monde est confronté à une urgence planétaire de changement climatique et de perte de la biodiversité.
Sentimos los impactos de esta crisis todos los días. Como mujeres, madres y protectoras de la madre tierra, esto nos aflige profundamente.
Nuestras comunidades ya forman parte de la solución.
Grâce à notre sagesse indigène et à nos connaissances traditionnelles, nous travaillons déjà
para proteger nuestros sagrados territorios de vida.
Proteger los jaguares en Panamá.
Contribuindo para a manutenção da floresta em pé e a autonomia das mulheres chicas da terra indígena.
Créer des concessions de forêts de communautés locales pour protéger les bonobos et leurs habitats.
Coletando semente por semente para reflorestar e garantir água, vida e dignidade em nossos territórios e além.
Protegendo habitats vitais de mangás e ervas marinhas, com práticas tradicionais e com base na ciência do século XXI.
Créer une initiative de pêche durable communautaire pour notre lac et notre avenir.
Sustainable managing share with land use plan and restoration.
Al trabajar para crear una red de seguridad basada en la naturaleza y para crear una economía positiva para la naturaleza, estamos
sustaining jobs and livelihood with nature-based enterprise and ecotourism.
Nous créons des chaînes d'approvisionnement durables et justes avec nos partenaires.
promoviendo la soberanía alimentaria, así como la justicia social y el medio ambiente.
Empowering youth to be the future of conservation.
Plaçant la nature et la vie sauvage au cœur des moyens de subsistance durable.
Mantendo ao carbono do solo, preservando as florestas,
manteniendo nuestras comunidades a salvo de las tormentas tropicales.
Conciliando la conservación de la nature, development local.
Generando espacios de formación para fortalecer los conocimientos y saberes de los y las guardianes comunitarias de la biodiversidad y de la Pachamama.
Conservando os ecossistemas, protegendo a biodiversidade marinha e garantindo a segurança alimentar das comunidades locais.
Somos as filhas mais irmãs dos mangais.
We are your sons,
granddaughters.
We are part of the solution, not only for this generation, but for the next.
By passing on our ancestral wisdom and knowledge to our children and grandchildren, we are safeguarding our future.
Estamos haciendo nuestra parte. Ahora les toca a ustedes.
Estamos aquí para compartir nuestros conocimientos ancestrales y nuestra cosmovisión y para definir colectivamente la protección de la naturaleza como algo sagrado.
Notre lutte pour les droits fonciers est une lutte pour la vie elle-même, non seulement pour la nôtre, mais aussi pour celle de la planète.
A nossa luta pelos negócios sustentáveis foi uma luta por uma nova economia positiva para pessoas e para os planetas.
Aos governos do mundo, pedimos-lhes para que respeitem, protejam e salvaguardem os direitos dos povos indígenas e das comunidades.
Yanyase, asunge, tetembangu, ane tetembala, ya tetrasi, ateti.
Nous demandons de faire appliquer les lois qui empêchent les grandes entreprises d'empiéter sur nos terres, de voler notre bois, d'empoisonner notre terre et nos eaux.
Pedimos que mantengan su compromiso sobre la naturaleza y el clima.
Y les pedimos que nos ayuden a formar parte de la solución mayor, ajudando-nos a ampliar nossas soluções.
Com financiamento direto e finanças.
Avec un soutien technique, with fair and inclusive supply chain.
Y con voz y voto en la mesa de negociación.
¿Secondé?
Rética Territorio de Vida en Argentina.
Ocean Revolution Moçambique.
Associação Rede de Sementes do Xingu.
Organisation écologique des lacs et de l'Ogooué.
Ecoturismo y conservación.
Organización de Mujeres Indígenas Unidas por la Biodiversidad de Panamá.
Associação Bebô Chico do Bacajá.
Somos parte de la solución.
Pedimos que se junte a nós na Escola de Natureza para a Vida.
Natureza para a vida.
Natureza para
a vida.
Welcome back to the Equator Prize 2022 Awards. We're now going to honor someone very special. With over 3 decades of work to save wildlife and wild habitat and record accomplishments in landscape scale conservation in Argentina and Chile through Tompkins Conservation, after having served as the CEO of the renowned clothing company Patagonia, a profitable business that dedicates resources to bringing about positive change and help to tackle environmental crises. Christine Tompkins is a lauded conservationist and successful entrepreneur. She knows a thing or two about how to conserve and restore ecosystems whilst promoting new green economy models. Christine, we're coming to you next.
Hello, everybody. I'm Chris Tompkins of Tompkins Conservation. Throughout most of my life,
I've had the good fortune of living in the best of what I think of as three worlds. Firstly, being outside. I grew up on a ranch in California, exploring the natural world. And I've spent the better part of my life exploring the wild and incredibly diverse areas of Chile and Argentina. Secondly, I've been in business. As the CEO of Patagonia for 2 decades, I came to learn firsthand that an organization can be a force for good. I believe that every person, every act, every community, every organization, and every company not only has the ability to make a difference, but has a mandate to change the very basic values and goals for businesses around the world. Every single day, we must pay our rent for living on the planet, including corporations. Patagonia has a long history of living up to this mandate, I'm very proud to say. In 2019, it was named as a UN Champion of the Earth because of its sustainable business model, a model that shows that being good for the planet and for being good for business is not only an imperative, but it is not incompatible. Thirdly, being a conservationist. I've spent the last 30 years of my life in conservation, first as a founder of Conservación Patagónica, and then as a co-founder of Tompkins Conservation with my husband, who was the visionary for all of this, Douglas Tompkins. We've helped to conserve more than 14 million acres of land and 30 million acres of marine no-take zones. Together with the government of Chile, we helped create the 2,800-kilometer Rutas de los Parques with 17 national parks and over 60 local communities, trying to make sure that community is always connected to long-term conservation. As a UN patron of protected areas, I believe there's no work more vital than protecting the planet and neighboring communities such that all will prosper over long term. Let's face it, we desperately need a global revolution changing the way we think about nature and our global and even local economies. There will be no healthy economy in the absence of healthy ecosystems. No health for all future generations of our human and non-human communities in the absence of ecosystems that thrive and replenish. We need new business models that benefit people and that let nature thrive. The business models shown by this year's Equator Prize winners help point this way. From sustainable commodity supply chains to integrating protected areas and productive areas, to indigenous-led ecotourism, to putting communities at the heart of sustainable businesses. This year's Equator Prize winners join a cadre of shining examples of indigenous peoples, local communities that are leading the way toward a new, green, and successful economy. We are grateful to and congratulate the following winners for this year's Equator Prize. The communities of Associação Bebo Kikrin do Bacajá of Brazil, the Sunkpa Shea Women's Cooperative, and the Mau Berema Ecotourism, Nature Conservation, Education, Research and Training Center. Really and truly, congratulations to you all. It is such an honor to be here with all of you, at least from afar. Thank you.
A floresta sempre oferece
fruto para nos dar. A gente não precisa estar derrubando, a gente só precisa lá buscar. E é um bem para a comunidade, uma renda gera para as mulheres que trabalham nela e também para ajudar a população indígena, para mostrar também que não precisa estar derrubando a floresta para tirar o que ela oferece para a gente.
Atualmente, nosso território Teixeira Bacajá atualmente ameaçado, está com pressão de miragem, vamos digamos assim.
Por que a gente acha importante trabalhar com óleo babaçu? Porque ela não tem desmatamento.
Porque nós tiramos óleo, passa no cabelo, a alimentação também serve. E agora a gente está começando para fora. Por isso que a gente defende a mata, defende a floresta, porque é tão importante para nós.
Foi isso uma ideia para poder a gente buscar os projetos para poder fortalecer a forma de organizar o Chicrinho. E também para poder buscar melhoria dos projetos, para poder a gente proteger nosso território.
A nossa luta pelo direito da terra é uma luta pela própria vida, não apenas pela nossa, mas pelo do planeta.
Congratulations to our sisters from the Trincheira Bacajá indigenous land in Brazil to spearhead this innovative company. Associação Bebo Chicrim do Bacajá is a women-led indigenous coconut oil company that enables protection of a large swath of forest. As defenders of the forest, wildlife, and your ancestral land in Brazil, what is it that you want the world to know regarding your work to preserve forests and promote livelihoods with your community's sustainable coconut oil company?
Nós, povos indígenas, temos grande objetivo, que é manter as florestas em pé. Uma floresta em pé é sinônimo da vida. Quando você derruba uma floresta, uma árvore, também se perde uma vida. Precisamos da floresta em pé. Manter vivos muitos tragédias estão acontecendo devido ao desmatamento. O mundo inteiro precisa de compreender que a floresta vale muito mais em pé. Sofreram face a ganâncias e nós, últimos anos, temos havido uma intensificação, várias ameaças. Até a indígena Teixeira Bacajá está passando por um período intenso. Invasores, exploração das nossas riquezas. E não podemos deixar que os invasores destruam ainda mais o nosso território. A luta do povo indígena, é a luta pela sobrevivência, a luta pelos direitos e pelas igualdades, e a luta pela vida. Quando falamos que preserva as florestas, não estamos pensando apenas em nós próprios, mas em todo esse planeta. Esperamos que o mundo compreenda que é a nossa causa é justa e beneficia todas saibam que a vida indígena é importante. Somos verdadeiros defensores, protetores das florestas, todos os rios e a vida salvada. Obrigado à iniciativa equatorial do PNUD por reconhecer nosso papel. Atribuímos ao Prêmio Equatorial.
Let us now move to another woman-led business, this time in Ghana. Let's hear about the work of the outstanding Sumpashe Women's Cooperative.
Você samba sumpanang ma tibi yilung ko tiyina ting dam taningi tilangsna taba katanga ko batang sapina yi alang taba anang nang banlung ko agbajina apisriti na ti pisriti suma sela bambus spray
Nka tese anya ka be tesa kulubina ama tesa mu kabol nibi anya tesa puna kabol lala mpane fatla za kama muta anka be tesa mu kabol lala na amban tesa mu kabol lala na ala kulubin lala na amfa anya nya amasre binenne ne bona mbasa ni bonus
Sapina ima apisiti mana ni serpam kusra atanarba atu sunti sosuzu tene tibisi anatin maza musu antasi tana zuri basata manin te broma se latinye to korna sanangala to koru bumo dadru badang marti se kati pisri pini sanangi ato pamla akosin tanarla anyaligna sanangi anyasi tibisi ne to dogom tin maza onya charba Tebatin sepini bayi ses na kwarm pasba ka pogabala teba pogaba kowa
Congratulations, Sumpashe, on your determination and your vision. Women play a critical role in biodiversity conservation and ecosystem restoration. Sumpashe, can you tell us more about your approach to breaking gender barriers and empowering women to play an active role in ensuring a sustainable commodity production in Ghana?
Yuranang Ibrahim Memuna Ayimurugu Sumpa Cooperative Magazia Ayi the langsane no pobaka langsi bela apili tutuma ayi tipisku pelli wonanang the langsan taba ma bela tulubu no fadamta anago amunufu atumala tumala tumunufu tumama soza no funyema tumunufu atumana tumama den langs ten balang pogba ma tisriti kanaga alubri bam bana wari zisi banyas katutuma ma asun awari wakala tili nang balung koma afeferi ana tuzu awate bekni si babu sungunu bana bas lala nang sama nang balung ko tuma ma tinti asun tibema o wariya atabe nufu gbalung anatang mapu tang smaza ani atumaga UNDP Equator Press yantete nga songna sama.
Okay, Let us now take a quick virtual journey to the far southwestern Pacific island of Papua New Guinea. This is where the next winner, Umberema Ecotourism Natural Conservation Education Research and Training Center, is from. Let's hear more.
Mariame, Mariame,
MENSET was previously established as a local community-based organization to manage the Oberma Ecotourism and Conservation Project. Our program fosters community ecotourism and wildlife protections through conservation, education, research and training, and support sustainable community livelihood in the islands region of Papua New Guinea. We mostly engage youths, which we believe they are the foundations of the future of conservations. They are the younger people that they have the strength and energy to involve in those conservation work. Many of our staffs are working on a voluntary basis. Culture is a significant part of our conservation practice. In doing so, we try to revive some of our cultural practice and identity. We try to promote our cultural artifacts and dramas like the Mauberma Masalai, or we call them the spirit or the guardians of the Mauberma forest. We also try to promote this to our cultural ecotourism program, where we can bring in tourists to visit those different sites as one way of generating income for the community members. We are the solution and hope to a sustainable future. Together, we protect now for tomorrow.
Congratulations, Mulbarema Ecotourism Natural Conservation Education Research and Training Center, a leading example of empowering Indigenous youth to work in conservation. I want to know, can you tell me how your organization mobilizes its youth to create awareness and capacity for environmental protection?
Hello and greetings from MENSET, Papua New Guinea. I'm Moses Kerry, founder and director.
I'm Ron Mote, Deputy Chairman, Mauberma Ecotourism and Nature Conservation.
Our organization, MENSET, is an indigenous-led ecosystem conservation and cultural preservation organization. MENSET was created by bringing together 8 communities across the province to manage 665 hectares of biodiversity hotspot. Founded by a young community member, MENSET continued to empower its youths as a key component to advancing the work of the organization. Conservation in Papua New Guinea has been primarily led by non-indigenous people. MENSET is working to create a new narrative of conservation in our home, where our community and the indigenous people of Papua New Guinea can be the next generations of conservationists. It is only when we collaborate locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally that we can unravel the true value of nature and biodiversity for all people. Instead of being guided by greed and the endless pursuit of profits, it is our goal through our organization and community efforts to encourage the youth and our local community to become engaged in conservation and demonstrate to the world the importance of indigenous leadership in conservation. On behalf of MENSET and the Mauberma community, we thank the UNDP Equator Initiative for recognizing our work.
Thank you, UNDP Equator Initiative, for recognizing our work through the prestigious Equator Prize. Together we protect now for tomorrow. In God we trust.
The Equator Prize wouldn't be possible if not for the unflinching and long-standing support of its many partners, among whom is Norwegian Agency for Development Cooperation, NORAD. NORAD's senior advisor from the Department of Climate and Environment, Ida Elizabeth Hallmark, is joining us today with some remarks about NORAD's priorities and why they've supported the Equator Initiative since 2009.
Hello everyone, I'm Ida Hallmark from the Norwegian Agency for Development Cooperation. Norway has been a proud supporter of the Equator Initiative since 2009. We support the Equator Initiative because their work is directly aligned with ours, with a focus on protecting and restoring our planet, on supporting indigenous rights, on finding nature-based solutions to our climate crisis, and on supporting the transition to regenerative agriculture and forestry. We are heartened to see this year's Equator Prize winners. These 10 communities, hailing from 3 continents and 9 countries, represent some of the most important transformations we need to see in our world. They showcase examples of how to protect and restore our vital ecosystems and how to put nature at the heart of the sustainable development planning. They show us that we can work with nature to secure livelihoods, food and water security, and create buffers against natural disasters. They prove that it's possible to ensure that communities are at the heart of the fair and equitable and sustainable supply chains. We value the role the Equator Initiative plays in creating a space where communities, civil society, governments, and the private sector can come together and celebrate creative solutions to our planetary challenges. This Equator Prize ceremony falls between 2 major global conventions, the Global Climate Conference and the Global Biodiversity Conference. The Equator Prize can provide hope and inspiration to delegates of both conferences, showing that solutions exist to our dual planetary crisis and encouraging bold and national commitments on nature and climate. Thank you, and I wish you the best for the prize ceremony and the rest of the events at the Nature for Life Hub.
Now, it brings me great joy to bring you the following performance from Point 5 Masangu. They're a group of Bwiti musicians and dancers from Gabon who are performing from the Lambarene temple in their home nation. Point 5 Masangu, take it away. Welcome back to the Equator Prize 2022 Awards. This is our last category, redefining our relationship with nature. Now, we are honored to have here with us the distinguished oceanographer, explorer, and world-renowned expert in marine biology, Dr. Sylvia Earle. It would be nearly impossible to list all of Sylvia's incredible accomplishments throughout her brilliant and long-standing career. She is an absolute force of nature herself, and certainly Sylvia knows well what it means to respect, to appreciate, and to show empathy to all living things on Earth. Today, she is going to be lending her powerful voice to introduce the communities within the Redefining Our Relationships with Nature Equator Prize category, most of whom work on aquatic ecosystems. Sylvia.
When I was a child, first exploring the waters along the coast of Florida, the ocean for me was a paradise. It was a wonderland of discoveries. Later, as a young scientist learning to dive under the surface of the sea in the 1950s, I was overwhelmed by the incredible abundance and diversity of life. And in the decades that have followed, with thousands of hours of diving, living underwater for weeks at a time, and using dozens of submersibles to go deeper and stay longer, I've witnessed the greatest era of discovery in all of human history. But also, I've witnessed the greatest time of loss. Consider, since the 1970s, about half of the coral reefs, seagrass meadows, marshes, mangroves, and forests of kelp have disappeared. In a few decades, industrial fishing has taken on the order of 90% of the sharks, tunas, swordfish, halibut, and cod, and caused unprecedented decline of many other large and small kinds of fish, and squid, krill, shrimp, oysters, crabs, and clams. We refer to these animals not as wildlife, but market them as seafood or products, measured by the ton. By 2050, it's estimated that there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. Most of the deep sea has yet to be mapped, let alone explored, but deep sea mining and industrial fishing interests are targeting the deep ocean for aggressive exploitation, and some is already underway. We are at a crossroads on this planet. We cannot have a secure future without first securing the health of all life on this mostly blue planet. We must make peace with nature and find an enduring place for ourselves within the natural living systems that sustain us. There are reasons for hope for the ocean, for the planet, and for us. With international protection, there are now more whales than there were when I was a child. More sea turtles, too. More of many things that we choose to protect. A tiny fraction of 1% of the ocean was safeguarded in the 1990s. Today, about 3% is highly protected, and more than 8% is managed to protect at least some areas and some species. More than 100 countries have committed to highly or fully protect at least 30% of the land and sea under their jurisdiction, and support is growing for protection of the high seas, half of the world that is a global commons, the blue heart of the planet. To succeed, much of the progress must come from indigenous people and local communities. There are bright spots all over the world. One of the first Equator Prize in 2002 was the Fiji Locally Managed Marine Area Network, proving the concept that local communities can conserve and manage their relationship with the sea based on local knowledge and traditional practices. The concept of locally managed areas spans Polynesia, Micronesia, and Melanesia. And in 2017, the Kuruwitu Conservation and Welfare Association in Kenya won the Equator Prize in recognition of being one of the first locally managed marine areas in Africa. We applaud the work of more indigenous peoples and local communities from Mozambique to Gabon, Ecuador, and Brazil, who are restoring seagrass meadows and mangroves, managing their use of wild fish while enhancing livelihoods for local communities, simultaneously delivering social benefits for the planet and society at large. I am so pleased to be a part of the Equator Prize ceremony, recognizing and honoring the conservation heroes who are on the front line by protecting and conserving the lands and waters they live in, by restoring critical ecosystems, and by thoughtfully managing their relationship with nature. They're showing how we can, how we must respect and care for the natural living systems that underpin our economy, our health, our security, and most of all, our existence. To this year's Equator Prize winners, congratulations and bravo.
Nós, como pescadores daqui de Mucum, tínhamos escassez de mariscos. Isto é, caranguejo já não existia, peixe não existia.
My name is Antonio de Sacramento Cabral. I'm leader of Ocean Revolution Mozambique. We work with communities around Inhambane Bay. Through our work with coastal communities and especially with the fishing community councils, we are able to build up skills and bring up tools for communities to engage and better promote the fisheries management in their communities.
Quando apareceu o nosso parceiro Ocean Revolution, sentamos com eles, fizeram algumas palestras com a comunidade aceitou criar berçário que está a trazer resultados. Temos peixe, temos caranguejo, não temos problema.
Vamos melhorar o nosso pescado. O pescado poderá crescer. A comercialização também poderá, portanto, melhorar.
They have been ran a campaign of mangrove restorations as well as seagrass restoration.
A veda também traz outro tamanho de peixe, traz espécies que já estavam em fase de extinção.
Esta veda é acompanhada por sessões de monitoria, onde analisamos os parâmetros da água e medimos o peso e o comprimento das capturas em áreas adjacentes à veda.
Também houve formação dos jovens, marinheiros, canalizadores, sistema de frio, isto para diminuir a pressão na pesca dos jovens.
Também tenho apoiado na formação de técnicos profissionais, fazendo acompanhamento até as suas graduações. Eu gosto do trabalho que estou a fazer, ajudando as comunidades.
O ganho maior é incutir, portanto, aos pescadores a responsabilidade de que isto lhes pertence. Não temos que esperar instituições, esperarmos não sei quem. Ele mesmo, o pescador, deve participar na gestão do recurso. Não podemos ser egoístas. Os nossos netos também vão precisar deste peixe.
The ocean and marine resources of our planet are crucial to regulating the world's weather systems, conserving biodiversity, generating food security, well, in short, and guaranteeing life. Congratulations on your important work, Ocean Revolution Mozambique. Your organization has been revitalizing the way in which indigenous peoples of the Inhambane Bay have coexisted with the ocean for millennia. Now, what can you tell us about the importance of community-driven conservation initiatives in Inhambane Bay?
Olá, meu nome é Antônio de Sacramento Cabral e eu pertenço a um grupo de Moçambique que se chama Ocean Revolution. O nosso trabalho com as comunidades ao longo da Baía de Inhambane é de capacitação, educação, organização para impulsionar as iniciativas de conservação ao longo da Baía de Inhambane. Um dos principais objetivos é ajudar as comunidades a criarem ligações entre conservação e prosperidade. E tudo isto começa através do impulsionamento das iniciativas comunitárias. A Ocean Revolution Moçambique tem membros que vêm da mesma comunidade e que falam as mesmas línguas que as comunidades locais. Eles mostram pelo exemplo que o sucesso da conservação depende das ações criadas e apoiadas pelas comunidades. Portanto, encontrar, orientar e formar redes de líderes locais constrói uma ética de conservação que preserva a biodiversidade e, igualmente, proporciona a abundância de espécies. O nosso trabalho ao longo da Baía de Inhambane com estas comunidades baseia-se no conhecimento tradicional, mas, ao mesmo tempo, ele cria um modelo de conservação que possa servir melhor à investigação científica, ao turismo, ao meio ambiente e, mais importante de tudo, ao desenvolvimento da comunidade em que nós estamos inseridos. É uma grande honra para nós, Ocean Revolution Moçambique, receber o Prêmio Equatorial do PNUD e ficamos muito agradecidos.
Pop quiz, my dear audience. What is one of the most powerful and efficient carbon sinks on the planet? Well, if you guess mangroves, you'd be right. Let's hear about a woman-led organization in Ecuador who are successfully protecting these essential coastal ecosystems.
Cuidar el ecosistema manglar es proteger la maternidad de los océanos, es cuidar la vida de los pueblos de pescadores y recolectores artesanales. La Coordinadora Nacional para la Defensa del Ecosistema Manglar nace en Ecuador con el objetivo de defender, recuperar y manejar colectivamente el ecosistema manglar y los territorios marino-costeros, protegiendo los derechos de pueblos de pescadores, el derecho a la alimentación, al trabajo, al agua y a su reproducción sociocultural. Era una necesidad de resistir frente a la agresión de la acuacultura industrial y de conformar una familia a lo largo de la costa donde cobijarnos, protegernos. Venimos reforestando bosque de manglar desde hace muchos años. Hemos impulsado también redes en otros países a nivel de América Latina. Trabajamos educación a las comunidades para la restauración socioecológica de los territorios. Trabajamos el derecho a la soberanía alimentaria, implementamos huertas que les llamamos las huertas hermosas y sabrosas, que es donde nosotros estamos produciendo alimentos básicos y también plantas medicinales, ornamentales, plantas aromáticas. Y son espacios donde las mujeres y sus familias cuidan la vida, cuidan los alimentos, pero sobre todo pensamos que estos espacios deben producir alegría para la familia. Entre estos pueblos hay una sabiduría, hay unos conocimientos de manejo del mar y del manglar, pero también hay sabidurías en la gente ecologista, activista y la sabiduría de los investigadores desde la academia. La idea de la Secondem es juntar estas sabidurías, juntar estos conocimientos para movilizar a las poblaciones, para movilizar a varios actores por construir estos territorios marino-costeros como territorios de vida. Cuando tú pierdes un territorio, pierdes la cultura y se pierde un pueblo, y se pierde una identidad. El momento en que planteamos una restauración socioecológica, estamos planteando la restauración de toda esta cultura.
Congratulations to the women and mothers of Secondem caring for the mangroves. Secondem knows well how to safeguard its marine and coastal ecosystems and how to do so as a community. So, how important are mangroves? Do tell us.
Cuidar el manglar es cuidar la maternidad que da vida a mares y océanos. Es cuidar los alimentos de miles y miles de pobladores de zonas marino-costeras. Los manglares sostienen los medios de vida de comunidades de recolectores, pescadores artesanales y campesinos de ribera. La restauración socioecológica comunitaria de estos ecosistemas es fundamental para la vida de los pueblos ancestrales. Promovemos la acción comunitaria para la recuperación del ecosistema manglar y su biodiversidad, a la vez que preservamos la memoria histórica, los conocimientos y las prácticas ancestrales. Una vida digna en territorios marino-costeros comienza con el cuidado de la cultura. Niños y niñas van al ecosistema manglar desde muy temprana edad, porque somos naturaleza y a la naturaleza siempre volvemos. A través de la construcción de la solidaridad, la soberanía y la gestión sostenible de los territorios marino-costeros, nuestra población local se empodera para construir libremente sus sueños y sus esperanzas. Poder ejercer nuestros derechos en libertad es la prioridad de nuestro trabajo, al tiempo que protegemos un ecosistema de inagotable valor cultural y ambiental para la humanidad. Gracias a la iniciativa ecuatorial PNUD por reconocer el trabajo de las mujeres de Secondem como ganadoras del premio ecuatorial.
So, we now travel across the ocean to learn about the solutions brought by the Equator Prize winner Oelo from Gabon. Let's learn more.
La nature, c'est la vie. Si on ne la conserve pas, on va tout perdre. Notre lac, notre avenir, c'est le nom de l'initiative de pêche durable donnée par les communautés. ce sont les communautés qui ont réfléchi, aidées par l'ONG OELO, à comment mettre en place des mécanismes pour protéger le lac. Ils ont mis en place ces plans d'aménagement-là pour conserver la ressource afin que les captures soient meilleures, que les espèces qu'on retrouve ne disparaissent pas, mais aussi pour espérer atteindre l'autosuffisance alimentaire, que les gains engendrés par la pêche puissent faire en sorte que les communautés puissent vivre décemment au village et au lac.
Dans les premières années qui ont suivi la mise en œuvre du plan d'aménagement des pêcheries, les pêcheurs locaux ont observé autour des grands poissons migrateurs. Ils ont amélioré leur prise par unité de fort et ont éliminé les captures accidentelles et lamantins africains dans le lac.
Pour conserver la ressource, il faudrait trouver des alternatives à la pêche, comme OELO le fait dans les coopératives de pêche durable, où on fait l'apiculture, l'élevage de poules, l'agriculture.
En outre, les membres des coopératives ont lancé des micro-projets pour réduire la pression de la pêche et rendre les populations plus résilientes. Parmi ces micro-projets, les séchoirs solaires et l'écotourisme au niveau du lac.
Notre lac, notre avenir, c'est aussi pour les générations futures. On conserve la ressource pour les générations futures.
Congratulations, OELO! Replicating and scaling up the nature-based solutions championed by Indigenous peoples and local communities is essential for the well-being of all people on our planet. So, OELO, what are your aspirations for the future?
Notre lac, notre avenir est une initiative de pêche durable gérée par les communautés qui promeut l'égalité des genres et gère durablement les ressources du lac de Gomoin pour les générations futures. Nous avons créé le premier plan de gestion de pêche durable en eau douce au Gabon, une collaboration entre les pêcheurs locaux, les scientifiques, les ONG et les partenaires du gouvernement.
En même temps, nous formons la prochaine génération de leaders environnementaux dans la région qui organisent les actions collectives.
Nous aspirons à reproduire notre modèle dans la grande région des lacs du Bas-Ogooué et autour du Gabon, où les communautés locales sont bénéficiaires et prennent des décisions pour protéger les moyens de subsistance, assurer la sécurité alimentaire, renforcer la résilience et conserver la biodiversité.
Mais les régions lacustres ne sont pas les seuls écosystèmes cruciaux que nous devons conserver de toute urgence. Nous prévoyons d'étendre cette initiative communautaire aux terres forestières en récupérant nos forêts ancestrales pour les protéger et les gérer durablement pour leurs générations futures. Merci à l'initiative Équateur du PNUD pour cette importante reconnaissance. Ensemble, nous pouvons protéger nos lacs, nos forêts et redéfinir la relation du monde avec la nature. Merci.
I know you're eager for this to continue and to have more inspiring, innovative nature-based solutions, but sadly, the next Equator Prize winners are our last for 2022. Let's head over to the Mato Grosso region of Brazil, where Associação Rede de Sementes do Xingu is based. Let us learn more about what they have been up to.
Somos mulheres indígenas coletoras de sementes. Somos agricultores, filhas e netos da terra. Somos amantes da sombra das árvores, da comida que elas oferecem, da água e da vida que só o nosso planeta é capaz de gerar. Vivemos em comunidades no Mato Grosso, um dos estados recorgistas em velocidade e áreas de desmatamento. especialmente em áreas de nascentes e matas ciliares. Essas transformações afetaram principalmente a qualidade e a quantidade de água nos rios que abastecem a nossa região. Estamos reunidos em 25 comunidades indígenas, da agricultura familiar e de cidades nas regiões das cabeceiras dos rios Xingu, Araguaia e Telespires. Coletamos sementes nativas há mais de 15 anos para reflorestar, em larga escala, a Amazônia e o Cerrado no Brasil. As sementes nativas que coletamos são misturadas momentos antes de serem semeadas. O nome dessa mistura é muvuca, uma técnica inovadora, mais econômica e eficiente do que aquelas já utilizadas no mercado de restauração.
Ela é uma metodologia que tem agregado muito valor e principalmente com essa questão participativa, né, de todos esses atores, né? E é isso que eu acho que faz com que a floresta realmente tenha um valor superior.
Talvez estejamos diante, né, cara, de um primeiro procedimento que pode ser bem sucedido para colocar na mesa e quebrar barreiras, quebrar medos, diferentes setores em prol de um objetivo único, que é restaurar os ecossistemas brasileiros, gerando oportunidades sociais.
Hoje, somos a maior e mais diversa rede de sementes para reflorestamento do Brasil. Nosso modelo de funcionamento é inspiração para a criação de rede de sementes nativas por todo o país e além. E assim, comunidades de diversos locais empoderam-se a partir da floresta em pé, garantindo o ciclo da água e a vida abundante em diferentes paisagens.
Eu poderia resumir de um versinho, né? Natureza, beleza, alimento da mesa, né? E alegria do coração, né?
Associação Rede de Sementes do Xingu has been bringing women together from 25 indigenous communities in Brazil's Xingu and Cerrado communities. Now, what are the goals that you wish to accomplish by developing such a diverse network of seed collectors?
Olá, eu sou a Bruna Ferreira, coordenadora da Rede de Sementes do Xingu. A Rede de Sementes do Xingu é uma associação não governamental sem fins lucrativos, estruturada por povos indígenas, agricultores familiares e moradores das cidades, localizado no território amazônico e cerrado, no estado de Mato Grosso, no centro-oeste do Brasil. Os nossos dois objetivos comuns são a restauração florestal, através da coleta e comercialização de sementes diversas, e a valorização da autonomia dos povos e culturas tradicionais, que fazem parte da rede de sementes do Xingu. Nós nos esforçamos para garantir que nossas comunidades que testemunham os efeitos da mudança climática todos os dias sejam levadas a sério e sejam consultadas sobre a melhor maneira de combater a perda da biodiversidade que está sendo afetada a eles e ao mundo inteiro. Estamos nos esforçando porque nossas comunidades que testemunham os efeitos das alterações climáticas todos os dias sejam levadas a sério e consultadas na luta contra a perda da biodiversidade. Mais de 600 coletores de sementes de diversas origens, histórias, culturas e línguas coletam sementes ano após ano para reflorestar as áreas da Amazônia e do Cerrado brasileiro e para estimular a autonomia e a geração de renda nas comunidades. O nosso trabalho não só está crescendo, como também capacitando as mulheres das comunidades agrícolas, indígenas e urbanas. Ao criar uma rede diversa de coletores de sementes nativas, estamos mostrando que podemos efetivamente restaurar o Cerrado e a Amazônia enquanto alcançamos o bem viver. Obrigada à UNT, Iniciativa Equatorial, por reconhecer o trabalho incansável das mulheres em nossas comunidades que reflorestam e criam oportunidade de geração de renda para os seus povos.
As we are coming to the end of this incredible, memorable, inspiring journey around the globe together, I want to thank once again the partners of the UNDP Equator Initiative. I want to thank you for watching and for supporting Indigenous people and local communities, their causes and their solutions, and renowned experts, activists, and others who participated in making this award ceremony happen. Congratulations one more time to all the Equator Prize winners of 2022. Each community will take away $10,000 to continue their valiant work. They'll also receive an additional $5,000 to further scale up their efforts thanks to the generosity of the Equator Initiative's value partner, the Sal Family Foundation. I will leave you with musical performance from the world-renowned artist DJ Alok, joined by Indigenous musicians Mpu Hune Kui, Yawanawa, and Oera MC from the Brazilian Amazon. This wraps up the Equator Prize 2022. I have been your host, Nilofar Hedayat. Goodbye from us.
Yowe mana ibubu, ibubutan. Yowe mana ibubu, mana bubutan. Kayawa, kayawa keke. Kayawa, kayawa keke. No no no no, no no no no no no no no no no no no no. No no no no no no no no no no no no no no no.
Shibora kasono kumana yoshibono kuna obya ke boni kushara bolo ko pa ko spano ko sabato kaya
Antes do Brasil da coroa, existe o Brasil do cocar.
Protecting, restoring, and sustainably managing nature is critical if we are to create a planetary safety net for humanity. As we heard from the Equator Prize ceremony, local action on nature is happening all over the world, and it's a cause for celebration. We saw how communities from around the world, from Argentina to Papua New Guinea, and from Mozambique to Panama, are working with nature to find solutions to their development challenges. But local action does not exist in a vacuum. In this next segment, we'll take a look at some additional dimensions of local action, including the pathways for scaling up success, the importance of safeguarding Indigenous rights, strategies for building landscape-level resilience, and the importance of technology in supporting local action. We'll also hear from the Small Grants Program as they celebrate 30 years of local action.
Hello, everyone. I'm Yoko Watanabe, Global Manager for the GF Small Grants Program at UNDP. Today, I'm very pleased to be moderating this session on Small Grants Program's 30th anniversary, Local Action, Global Impact. Small Grants Program is the largest and longest-standing corporate program of the Global Environment Facility, dedicated to supporting civil society and community-based initiatives. It has been implemented by the United Nations Development Program on behalf of the GF Partnership since 1992. The Small Grants Program has been providing financial and technical support to civil society and community-based organizations on innovative community-driven initiatives that address global environmental issues, such as biodiversity conservation and sustainable use, climate change mitigation and adaptation, land degradation, international waters, and chemicals and waste management, while at the same time improving livelihoods. Throughout its journey, SGP has continuously evolved and has now grown to a unique global delivery mechanism to scale up local actions that can develop and deliver solutions to these multiple challenges. Small Grants Program was sparked by the idea that the active participation of local communities in dealing with critical environmental problems holds the key to promoting effective stewardship of environment and achieving sustainable development. Besides its central role as an incubator and accelerator of community innovations, Small Grants Program plays a key role in bringing together civil society, government, the private sector, and others to promote systemic change from the community level to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Now, I would like to invite the CEO of the Global Environment Facility, Mr. Carlos Manuel Rodriguez, to bring some remarks on this Small Grants Program's 30th anniversary.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, my name is Carlos Manuel Rodriguez, and I'm the CEO and chairperson of the Global Environment Facility, known as the GEF. As we celebrate today the 30th anniversary of SCP, the GEF is proud of what we've been able to achieve. Today, the SGP is widely recognized as one of the GEF's most successful programs supporting civil society and local communities' initiatives. But if we are able to tackle the environmental crisis before us, we must do even more. We must do more to involve young people and marginalized groups, both to increase buy-in and to unlock knowledge and ideas at the local community level. On this occasion, I would like to thank and congratulate all of our partners, particularly the civil society and community-based organizations on the ground, and yes, of course, without any doubt, to UNDP as the implementing agency for their dedication, commitment, and hard work in ensuring the long-term success of SGP. I look forward to our continued work through SGP in preserving the global environment and securing benefits for future generations. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carlos Manuel. Indeed, today, Small Grants Program's unique role in supporting civil society and local communities is more relevant than ever. Over the years, to strengthen results and impact, Small Grants Program has developed strategic partnerships and co-financing arrangement with a range of partners to scale up and support our work. Some of our long-standing partners include the Community-Based Adaptation Program supported by the Government of Australia and the Community-Based and Knowledge Management for Satoyama Initiative. This one supported by the Government of Japan. We call it COMDEX. And the Indigenous Peoples and Community Conserved Territories and Areas, the ICCA Global Support Initiative, has been supported by the Government of Germany. I would like to take you to Turkey today to share a project under the COMDEX partnership, which highlights the approach of societies living in harmony with nature.
Herkes kısmetini yer. Kurdun da kısmeti varsa, yani bizim hayvanda, eğer o bizden çıkışmışsa, o kurdun kısmetidir, alır yani.
Ya bir de biz dağda, doğada, bizim doğa bizim olduğu kadar kurtların da
yabani hayvanların.
Bunlar alır bağışıklık şekilde, o ondan çalar, o ondan çalar, öyle geçer gider.
UNDP SGPG Küçük Destek Programı tarafından desteklenen sosyoekolojik üretim alanları anlayışının Türkiye'de yaygınlaştırılması projesi, geleneksel üretim havzalarının ve üretim biçimlerinin korunması ve yaygınlaştırılmasını hedeflemektedir. İdea Universal Derneği ve Doğa Derneği ortaklığında yürütülen projeye Karadeniz Ekolojik Kalkınma Derneği, 4 Mevsim Ekolojik Yaşam Derneği, İzmir Kalkınma Ajansı ve İzmir Büyükşehir Belediyesi de katkı sunuyor. Türkiye, insanıyla, hayvanıyla, bitkisiyle tüm canlıların varlığına saygı duyan ve binlerce yıldır devam eden kadim üretim uygulamalarına sahiptir. Anadolu'nun köklerinden günümüze gelen bu bilgelik sayesinde doğamız görece olarak korunabilmiştir.
Bakla çocuğum Musa Mehmet'ten aldım. O da köyümüzün insanı. Yerli tohumumuş. Çok eskiden dedi, bu tohumu dedi, ben dedi cam kavanozda dedi saklıyordum dedi. Ben de 15 tane anca bir şey aldım zaten, bitmiş. Ondan sonra ektim, çoğalttım. Ben de 15-20 kişiye köyümüzde dağıttım aynı tohumları. Şimdi herkes iyi kötü fidanını yeriştiriyor. Yine bu yıl isteyenlere vereceğim. Oğlum bunlar da aten elimdekilerini çıksın sürürdükle. Ondan sonra yaprağını koparam, salataya koyalım.
Biz bu üretim alanlarının en önemli özelliğini aslında dayanışma olarak görüyoruz ve diyalog olarak görüyoruz. Ve bu diyaloğun içerisinde çok çok önemli bir şey var. Canlılar da var. Yani yaban hayatı da var. Çünkü onların da varlığını ve geleceğini kolluyoruz bu dayanışmanın içerisinde.
Toprağa ne kadar az müdahale, hasat döneminde ekim dikim işlerinde olabildiğince ağır makineler olmadan elle hasat ya da hafif aletlerle hasat yapılıyor. Zeytin ormanlarında bu gerçekten nirvana'ya ulaşmış diyebiliriz. Çünkü buradaki zeytin ormanları içerisinde yapılan üretimde hasat özellikle çok ince bir hassasiyetle yapılıyor. Normalde zeytin hasadı dediğimiz zaman işte gidersiniz, bir gün zeytin toplar gelirsiniz. Ama Orhanlı Vadisi Kadim Üretim Havzası'ndaki zeytin hasadı tamamen mevsimsel döngüye bağlı olarak yapılıyor. İlk yağmurlar başlıyor, ondan sonra gidiyorsunuz her bir zeytinin dipleri temizleniyor, dikenleri arıtılıyor çünkü elle tek tek toplanıyor. Yağmurlardan sonra ilk zeytin ağacından yere düşen taneler toplanıyor. Onlar toplandıktan sonra bir daha bekleniyor. Yağmur yağsın, rüzgar essin, o taneler tekrar yere düşsün, tekrar gidiliyor. Bu gibi en az 3-4 defa buranın deyişiyle, buradaki insanların deyişiyle zeytinin ayağına gidiliyor. Ve daha sonra en son artık Ocak ayında zeytin sırıkla, birkaç tane başında kalanlar da sırıkla düşülerek toplanıyor. Olabildiğince işte el işçiliğine dayalı olarak hasat ediliyor buradaki kadim üretim havzalarının içindeki ürünler.
Yağmur yağınca zeytin şişer, kendini gösterir. İlk dökülene zaten biz kızılgur deriz. Onları toplarız, sıktırırız. Ondan sonra bir daha toplarız. En son gıdayı yedi mi zeytin kendine gelir, ondan sonra çırpıma geçeriz. Zeytin zamanı yasak çıkar burada. Zeytin hasatı bitince kadar yasak, hayvan girmez. Ne zaman zeytin hasatı bitti, ondan sonra hayvanlar salarlar. Hayvan girerse zeytinlik iyi olur. Otunu, nigerini kırar, dınağını rahat olur. Ama hayvan girmese ne olacak? Önemli otluk köprü kolu gider.
Projemizde bu üretim geleneği ve anlayışının yaygın şekilde uygulandığı havzaları korumak ve bu alanların bilinirliğini artırmak istiyoruz. Bu kapsamda akademik çalışmalar yürütüyor, karar vericiler ve diğer paydaşlar arasında ağlar kuruyoruz.
Bu diyalog ortamını oluşturmakla aslında buradaki yaşam kültürünü, hiç kimseyi arkada bırakmayan, herkesi dahil eden yaşam kültürünü zenginleştirmeyi ve onu küresel düzeye yansıtabilmeyi umuyoruz. O yüzden her birinizin bu üretim alanlarından etkilendiğini varsayarak bu geleceği bizimle birlikte oluşturma şansını bizimle paylaşmanızı ve katılmanızı istiyoruz, arzu ediyoruz.
Hope you enjoyed the video. Now I would like to invite Mr. Pradeep Kurukurasuriya, the Director of the Nature, Climate and Energy at UNDP. He will be sharing a few remarks on this occasion of the 30th anniversary.
I'm truly excited to celebrate with all of you the 30th anniversary of the Small Grants Program. SGP has shown that small local actions can be scaled up to create greater national and global impacts. SGP has implemented over many years long-term measures to nurture capacities and networks of the civil society and local communities, and in doing so have promoted strategic partnerships in addressing the global environmental and sustainable development challenges. Today, we are extremely proud to celebrate these achievements and SGP's 30 years of support to local actors and their contribution to global environmental impacts. As SGP consolidates and capitalizes on progress and results achieved over the past 3 decades, we congratulate and really celebrate the work of nearly 20,000 civil society communities-based organizations around the world who are actively working tirelessly to protect our planet. UNDP is pleased to have been able to support the implementation of the Small Grants Program in partnership with the Global Environment Facility for the past 3 decades. UNDP focuses support to local actors around the world and in 3 essential solutions: empowerment, strengthening indigenous peoples and local communities' agency through collective empowering action for advocacy and inclusive governance. B, on resilience, supporting networks of local actors to build socio-ecological resilience of their urban and rural land seascapes through technical assistance and grant and non-grant funding. And C, in promoting investment. We're not going to achieve scale without transforming financial flows to indigenous peoples and local communities and others to accelerate local collective action to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. We look forward to continuing our strong partnership with the Global Environment Facility, scaling up local action and working with other donors and partners to support and scale local action based on these successful results. Through trusted partnerships, we will put civil society and local communities at the forefront of our efforts to conserve and inspire change to ensure that the environment and livelihoods that are so reliant on them are sustained, and as key partners, provide solutions and ensure that no one is left behind. Thank you.
Thank you, Pradeep. As we conclude, I would like to really thank the GES, UNDP, and especially our dedicated local communities, civil society, and grantee partners, our National Steering Committee, SGP country program teams, GF operational focal points, and the GEF council members, and a range of partners who have been SGP champions on the ground. We know that shifting the future development trajectory will require coordination, integration, and solutions at all levels, and including that of local communities, civil society, government, the private sector, and others. Building on the work of the past 30 years, SGP remains committed to working with our partners to find bold and imaginative ways to take the Small Grants Program to the new heights. Thank you very much.
So when I was a child, the macaws were thick here. They were flying everywhere. And then they started to disappear.
Every day during the breeding season of the scarlet macaw, the people of Mabita prepare to patrol the thick pine forests of the Honduran Mosquitia.
In 2014, we were able to document that every nest in this core conservation area of Mabita was poached. Nothing escaped the illegal wildlife trade. It was very disheartening.
Poaching is the #1 threat to the scarlet macaw, largely driven by a domestic and international pet trade. It's estimated only 1,500 scarlet macaws are left in Central America. About 500 of them live in this one region of Honduras.
In Honduras, most of the chicks go to Bay Island. For the tourists and hotels, loves parrots, loves macaws, and they use as attraction. But I think they don't know, or they don't want to know, the damage that they are causing in the wild.
In the 1980s, Honduras exported some 12,000 birds per year, mostly parrots and macaws, to the U.S. pet trade. Honduras declared the activity illegal in 1990, but it's estimated that hundreds of scarlet macaw chicks are still taken from the Mosquitia every year through a network of poachers, middlemen, and international traffickers.
We had people for the last 2 years from China boating up and down the river between Nicaragua and Honduras asking to buy eggs and chicks. So these birds are being trafficked to Asia and probably India and Arabia as well, because you will see these species of birds in pet stores there.
The Abu Pani Project, which means scarlet macaw in mosquito, started with the small village of Mabita in 2010.
I was somewhat startled to hear the people here saying, we don't see our parrots anymore, and we would be interested in seeing if we can protect them.
Thanks to funders like the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, it's the largest community-patrolled parrot conservation area in Latin America. The patrols have significantly reduced poaching. The patrols that began in Mabita are now taking place in 6 different communities throughout the Mosquitia.
We banned them because, one, we can tell one chick from the other, and 2, if the poachers take them, we know there are birds and where they came from. So any birds that in this area, anywhere in the world that have a band on their right side with our number, there are birds and they should come back.
I feel sad because when the chicks are taken, the parents are flying around as if they were crying. It's like if you lost your children, you would be sad. It's the same for them. And that's a reason I feel sad too. We're trying to work with other communities around Mabita to teach them how to take care of and conserve the macaw. Because if we work together, we can help the macaws to survive. We want to send a message to the world to help us conserve the macaws.
It's honorable work, but it's also dangerous. The men and women who patrol these woods must also confront poachers.
I was in the river taking a bath, and suddenly, I don't know how many of them, people behind the bushes started shooting at me. Thank God I survived. And after that, I felt that I loved the macaws more because I was fighting for them. I feel that this love is for them.
For decades, poaching scarlet macaw chicks was the primary way people here made a living.
I used to be a poacher. I would climb the trees and take out the chicks. There's no opportunity for us, and that's the reason why we used to be poachers.
Today, the Abu Pani Project provides a better way. Team members receive a salary of about $8 a day versus $20 to $60 for one poached bird. They can provide for their families by helping the macaws instead of selling them.
With projects like this, we can help the poachers to be conservationists.
Project members have established the Rescue and Liberation Center of Mabita for birds confiscated from poachers and traffickers. Here, they care for the macaws until they can be released back in the wild.
Before I started working with the macaws, my life was really different. I decided to work for the macaws. I've never earned any income, and so I benefit, and so do the birds. I can really see that the future of the birds is tied into the well-being of the people here. That as the project goes forward, it will help the birds as well as the people.
Bueno, mi visión es seguir adelante.
I have a vision for the project here and the macaws here. We just have to keep going forward. We have to leave something for our children.
Wazazi wakifundisha, wababa wakifundisha hivi, kitu wa kutuchunga mazingira yetu, tusiharibishe kitu kiovyo ovyo, tusilopole samaki, tusiue nyama ovyo yote. Ndio wazazi wetu wakifundisha ile mazingira, ndio tulilinda mboga yote yoyote, hakuna kuharibisha.
আমি এই মানে শুনে দেখা তুমি যার জঙ্গলে ঘুরে নির্ভর করে দিচ্ছি শীতে হলে এই ভিটামিন আনার জন্য আমি যদি বলে ঘুরি নোরাঙে দিও যেটা দিয়ে আমার হয়তো এবার ঘুরি নেই আমার বুড়ো বুড়িয়ে শিখেছি।
We look at the earth and life in a different way than how the West views it. The West view is one that is focused on extraction, commercialization, and monetization. Our view is that of interdependence and care, respecting and taking care of nature, using only what we need, and therefore ensuring the survival of the future generations. Indigenous peoples have a different perspective that the world should listen to, because it's a perspective that will sustain us in the future. In terms of spirituality, it's paying respect to nature, to the seen and to the unseen. Our rights to our lands, territories, and resources are not legally recognized. When we exercise and assert and protect our rights, we are criminalized. We are the ones protecting biodiversity. That is the big difference with fortress conservation. Fortress conservation views us as separate from Mother Earth. It views us as enemies and destroyers of our forests and resources. We have proven that we are the stewards of nature.
Wazazi wakasema mazingira sio kitu cha kuharibisha, kwa sababu ina manufaa vingi katika maisha yetu.
O Cerrado é a savana mais antiga e biodiversa do mundo, única com formações florestais. É o hotspot de biodiversidade, com 5% de todas as espécies da Terra. É considerado o berço das águas do continente sul-americano, fornecendo 40% de toda a água doce no Brasil.
E lembrando que a caixa d'água está no Cerrado, está aqui no nosso centro-oeste, está o berço das águas, onde a água vai para o sul, vai para o norte. Não adianta preservar só o Amazonas e esquecer o Cerrado aberto, entrando soja, entrando milho, entrando cana.
O Cerrado ocupa 36% do território brasileiro, incluindo suas áreas de transição com outros biomas, entre eles a Amazônia, Pantanal, Caatinga e Mata Atlântica, possuindo apenas 8% de áreas protegidas. Possui um estoque de carbono da ordem de 13,7 bilhões de toneladas de gás carbônico. Abriga 25 milhões de pessoas, sendo 80 terras indígenas e 44 territórios quilombolas.
Eu digo uma coisa, o ecossistema mais ameaçado do Brasil não é a Amazônia, é o Cerrado. E a maior riqueza do Cerrado são seus povos e seus saberes tradicionais.
O Cerrado é a maior fronteira agrícola deste século e está sendo rapidamente substituído por extensas áreas de monocultura e pecuária empresariais, que abastecem principalmente os mercados da Europa e da China. Hoje, o Cerrado é a fonte de 80% do carvão vegetal brasileiro e representa a metade da produção de commodities e de carne bovina do país. Em menos de 50 anos, o desmatamento, as queimadas, a poluição química por agrotóxicos e a desertificação do nosso bioma já ocasionou a perda de mais da metade da sua vegetação e fauna. Em meio a essa triste realidade, os agroextrativistas do Cerrado sofrem com a pressão do agronegócio e a desvalorização dos seus modos de vida tradicionais.
A nossa reserva, nós não estamos podendo ter acesso dentro da reserva. Toda cancela é com cadeado trancado, que o fazendeiro não quer aceitar nós fazer o trabalho dentro da reserva. A toda a luta nossa que nós fez de 2006 até agora, ela não está vista. Os povos não estão tomando a providência. E os fazendeiros passam tudo cansado, cheio está trancado. Como é que nós temos acesso nas áreas para o extrativismo? Não tem jeito.
Frutas natural, que era fartura, que o tempo era fartura. E tudo que você quisesse da natureza, você arranjava. Era um puçar, era outra coisa, outra fruta, né? E não tinha hoje a contaminação.
O cerrado ele é o equilíbrio da natureza, né? Se destruir o cerrado, nós não vamos ter água, o tempo vai esquentar, acaba tudo. Então, todo nosso depende do cerrado.
A terra, ela te dá inúmeras possibilidades de trabalhar, né? Principalmente quando você vê e você se engaja no trabalho coletivo, no trabalho agroecológico, no trabalho de preservar o lugar onde você vive, respeitar a natureza, e é possível viver, né, no campo e viver do campo junto com a família.
Nós somos uma rica e densa rede de povos e comunidades tradicionais do Cerrado que se organizaram em rede para desenvolver modos de vida e cultura associados à biodiversidade, para valorizar e promover a produção agroecológica, orgânica e o uso sustentável da biodiversidade, buscando também a soberania alimentar. A rede desenvolve seu trabalho através de duas organizações, a Coop Cerrado, que organiza da produção à comercialização, e o SEDAC, que é uma instituição de assessoria técnica que organiza todo o processo de certificação orgânica participativa envolvendo gênero e crédito. Também temos o CEVICAR, que é o Centro de Vivência Comunitária Agroecológica em Rede, que desenvolve trabalhos dentro do território, a partir da agroecologia, disseminando conhecimentos de agricultor para agricultor. Dentro das iniciativas desenvolvidas dentro do Fundo Garantidor de Agroecologia e Biodiversidade, em 2021 foi iniciado um programa voltado para as mulheres, que são os quintais femininos de abundância, que visa o desenvolvimento de uma renda e de uma segurança alimentar nutricional. O Sistema Participativo de Garantia Orgânica foi iniciado no ano de 2000. O SEDAC tinha um processo junto dos agricultores e núcleos comunitários voltados para a valorização e controle social dos seus processos de produção, comercialização e gestão. Em 2014, esse sistema foi reconhecido pelo Ministério da Agricultura, tornando o SEDAC uma instituição credenciada ao Sistema Brasileiro de Conformidade Orgânica. E com isso, pudemos utilizar o selo de orgânicos do Brasil, sob sistema participativo. Com esse selo, a cooperativa conseguiu acessar mais mercados e ser reconhecida por sua produção orgânica, agroecológica e também o trabalho com a biodiversidade sendo desenvolvido de forma sustentável.
Nós aqui estamos trabalhando com certificação orgânica, mas o foco é a agroecologia, porque a agroecologia tem todos os contextos dos 4 cantos da propriedade.
É uma produção linda, saudável, sem agrotóxico, sem adubo químico, sem nada aquilo que prejudica a vida.
E com isso já alcançamos 5.460 famílias envolvidas, entre elas povos e comunidades tradicionais, comunidades indígenas. Já trabalhamos com 273 espécies cultivadas e nativas, dentre elas 171 são nativas, em uma área de 875 mil hectares, com manejo sustentável, certificação orgânica participativa, promovendo a salvaguarda de 29 mil pessoas. E por essa abordagem sobre as paisagens e por apresentar soluções baseadas na natureza, a partir da valorização do Cerrado e seus polos, a rede teve, em 2021, a honra de receber o Prêmio Equatorial da ONU, que materializa o reconhecimento internacional do nosso trabalho.
E os desafios são grandes, porém as nossas convicções são maiores. E vamos continuar construindo aquilo que a gente deseja, não só para nós, mas para o conjunto da sociedade. Alimentar é um direito e alimentar-se bem é um direito mais sagrado ainda. O sujeito é aquela pessoa que foi preparado para responder por ele ser dono dele. Eu acho que essa de ser dono, essa é muito forte, né? Fala, o que é sujeito? Sujeito é ser dono de si próprio. Tem muita gente que não é dono de si próprio.
O futuro do Cerrado depende dos seus povos. Sem os povos tradicionais, os cerrados desaparecerão. Somos os guardiões do Cerrado. Somos indígenas, agricultores familiares, agroextrativistas, pescadores, vazanteiros, retireiros, quilombolas, assentados. Esse é o rico e diversificado campesinato brasileiro.
É o nosso modo de vida que preserva as florestas, as águas, a biodiversidade e o clima. E é por isso que a gente continua lutando.
My world in 15 years would be water is clean, rainforests are vast, animals are safe from poaching. Poaching is a thing in the past.
Project 15 really is a passion project devoted to supporting sustainability initiatives with IoT and cloud technology. And there is so much need for our skill set to come over and help. We got the first email from Bastian.
With some easy partners, our purpose is really to achieve zero poaching in our lifetime. We have camera traps, acoustic sensors, drones, motion sensors, etc. They all generate data. It became clear pretty quickly that there wasn't this centralized solution that sits in the middle that pulls in all the data, makes it usable. That's where we needed help. I came across the Project 15 website and Sarah responded within a day.
We knew that we had something because, quite honestly, he wasn't the only one who called.
The GEF Small Grants Program, implemented by United Nations Development Program, supports local communities on innovative solutions related to environmental issues, such as climate change, biodiversity, land degradation, and chemicals and waste. We're really excited to be working with Project 15 from Microsoft, who have very similar missions.
When we started drawing all these solutions, it turned out their problems were the same as commercial problems. How do I get to scale?
So for example, for jaguar conservation, we have been collecting lots of data from the local communities on where the jaguars are and where the human-wildlife conflict is happening. But putting those data one by one in Excel sheet and analyzing them has been really difficult. So what we really need is a scalable solution.
So we would create tools in a toolbox. It's really an opportunity to operationalize, and Daisuke and I met with scientists, but they don't have time to learn how to do the whole solution.
I started designing and building the tools. How do I make this tool available and easy for people to pick it up? After speaking to the scientific community, I quickly realized, they know what kind of music they want to play, but doesn't mean they want to know how to build a piano. And I'm good at building a piano. So I made a tool.
They actually had the capability and the resources to build what was needed to take conservation technology to the next level. Over 2020, Microsoft ended up developing this IoT conservation solution that's now on GitHub, available to the entire conservation community.
It was much easier to design a piece of software and say, here, push this button and off you go. Kate reached out to me over Instagram and she pitched us.
I'd like to take a moment and tell you about my journey.
And said, I want to make a club where we break the timeline. Because if you wait for me to get old enough, we won't have any animals left.
Sarah and Daisuke are going to partner with me. They're going to teach me IoT and how to use the Project 15 open platform.
We have this fifth industrial revolution going on. We have all of these technologies that can massively increase scalability.
And we have made IoT solution easier for our community to use.
Not only on conservation of species, but in sustainable cities, agriculture, and many other emerging environmental issues.
And once you see that sustainability solutions are actually a good business model, we just need to connect.
I'm confident if kids are given the tools and the opportunity to learn, my generation can become part of the solution.
Las comunidades alrededor del mundo se están organizando y comprometiendo con soluciones de desarrollo innovadoras que responden a su contexto. Sin embargo, estos esfuerzos se complican por la falta de acceso a financiamiento, poca capacidad técnica, inequidad en los mercados y la insuficiente información técnica, económica y climática a la que están expuestos. Para impulsar con éxito la transformación sistémica, los actores locales deben contar con las herramientas, capacidades y recursos financieros necesarios para intervenir en los paisajes donde viven y trabajan. El PNUD de Ecuador, a través de su acción local, ofrece servicios para mejorar y ampliar el apoyo a las comunidades, a través del programa de pequeñas donaciones que cumple 30 años de gestión. La acción local del PNUD ayuda a las comunidades en la construcción de la resiliencia socioecológica de sus territorios y paisajes marinos. Su trabajo se centra en 3 objetivos: catalizar la planificación y acción comunitaria para lograr paisajes inclusivos y resilientes, apoyar a las organizaciones comunitarias para la producción regenerativa, ayudar a las organizaciones urbanas y periurbanas en la construcción de ciudades y barrios resilientes, saludables y con bajas emisiones de carbono. A través de la acción local, el programa de pequeñas donaciones de Ecuador ofrece respuestas locales a problemas ambientales globales, gracias a sus proyectos en los biocorredores para el buen vivir, que buscan dinamizar la gestión territorial mediante el fortalecimiento de enfoques basados en derechos, incluyendo los derechos de la naturaleza recogidos en la Constitución de la República de Ecuador de 2008. Los biocorredores para el buen vivir priorizan los paisajes productivos sostenibles como estrategia para fortalecer la conectividad ecológica, donde a través de asociaciones comunitario-público-privadas se gestionan y conservan los recursos del biocorredor. En esta última fase se consideran nuevos conceptos como biocomercio, bioemprendimientos, las biorredes como un espacio de articulación y el valor circular.
Cuando un individuo está en armonía su pensar y su sentir, puede actuar bien consigo mismo, con su familia, con la comunidad, con la sociedad, la naturaleza y el cosmos. Eso es el buen vivir.
Estos biocorredores consideran 3 enfoques. La conectividad ecológica prioriza la conservación de la biodiversidad, vinculando hábitats fragmentados para que las especies que habitan en estos ecosistemas puedan transitar y reproducirse. Esta estrategia contribuye también a la conservación de las áreas naturales protegidas. En los paisajes productivos sostenibles, las comunidades incorporan prácticas que respetan los ciclos de la naturaleza.
Existe un grupo de guías nativos que vienen trabajando sobre el cuidado de los manglares.
En el tema productivo, obviamente, creemos que el tema de conservación está ligado al tema de producción, una producción sana, sustentable, por eso producimos ecológicamente con los compañeros.
La asociatividad promueve la organización de productores comunitarios alrededor de diferentes cadenas de valor. Para ello es necesario la creación de alianzas estratégicas que apoyen la producción limpia, el comercio justo y la conservación de los ecosistemas. Las comunidades, a partir de productos con identidad territorial, han desarrollado bioemprendimientos que priorizan recursos provenientes de la biodiversidad y de la agrobiodiversidad, con altas perspectivas de acceso al mercado. Los biocorredores para el buen vivir son paisajes resilientes gracias a las metodologías e iniciativas implementadas. Al reforzar el enfoque de resiliencia socioecológica comunitaria, hemos conseguido proteger los ecosistemas, los medios de vida territoriales, la cultura y los saberes locales. El reto a futuro es fortalecer, replicar y escalar las buenas prácticas y lecciones aprendidas en otros paisajes y con otras comunidades. Somos comunidades en acción comprometidas con la conservación.
Selamat datang di Rumah Belajar. Rumah Belajar berada di Banjarnyu, Desa Pet, Nusa Penida. Rumah Belajar ini adalah konsep terpadu di mana pembangunan berkelanjutan bisa diterapkan di Nusa Penida. Di sini ada biogas, jadi dari kotoran sapi bisa dimanfaatkan sebagai gas dapur untuk memasak. Nah, di sini juga ada solar panel, energi sinar matahari kita manfaatkan sebagai energi listrik. Di sini juga ada TPSD, tempat buangan sampah terpadu. Jadi sampah yang ada di lingkungan sini dan di warga sini itu diolah menjadi kompos. Jadi di sini tempat memisahkan sampah yang botol-botol anorganik kita taruh di sini, dan kita bisa jual. Kemudian ada yang organik yang akan diolah menjadi kompos untuk tanaman. Di kebun ada tanaman yang bisa digunakan di dapur. Kemudian untuk membuat subur tanaman itu kita memanfaatkan dari kompos dari TPSD. Kemudian ada dari biogas. Jadi ada cairan biogas dan ada pupuk kotoran sapi itu dari biogas. Bagi yang ingin menjumpai produk-produk lokal Nusa Penida, jadi bisa datang ke outlet kami yang sudah tersedia. Rumah Belajar juga sebagai ruang kebudayaan. Anda bisa belajar menari, melukis, kemudian menggamel, dan mengenal tentang kebudayaan-kebudayaan yang ada di Nusa Penida.
Aprendí muchas cosas, como les dije, lo de la composta, los ingredientes que lleva, que no solamente es de venir y meter la semilla en la tierra, sino que lleva su proceso para que la fruta pueda crecer bien.
Al evitar incendios o problemas de ese tipo, pues ya ve que el COVID ataca lo que son las vías respiratorias, entonces los altos índices de contaminación que provocan los incendios forestales, pues afecta en directo a nuestras familias. Entonces, ese es uno de los factores que nosotros pensamos y vimos a bien para participar con este proyecto.
El proyecto que se hizo creo que fue un gran impacto, porque nos ayudó mucho en lo que es la economía.
Nuestra idea también es cuidar lo que es el medio ambiente, cuidar la madre tierra y también cuidar nuestra salud.
Decidimos hacer acá nuestro jardín botánico. En esta parte pensamos poner abejas, producir miel, porque igual la miel es muy caro.
sventa lombe sokta sventa biutilah sunte kafetik rotek sok biutilah sunte boktik rotek sok shante biutil ya shu ya ni shilek pun hotek te lung inal hichutil lahani shutil bitil te ya kiltikes venta yun te yash kabetik shante yashal te lum balu milale para que maik bai tanto ya yutin botika te lum kinaltike ha hich te ya kilte ahorita.
Panorama, Solutions for a Healthy Planet, is a partnership initiative which identifies and promotes examples of tested and replicable solutions, enabling their wider application by offering cross-sectoral global exchange opportunities. Panorama currently includes more than 1,186 solutions from more than 861 solution providers in over 180 countries. How does Panorama work? Let's hear from the field.
Our blue solution is Chumbe Island Coral Park in Zanzibar, Tanzania. Chumbe is located off the southwest coast of Zanzibar and is the first financially self-sustaining marine protected area in the world. We established more than 20 years ago with a very novel concept of developing ecotourism on the island as a not-for-profit business approach to generate all the financing necessary to run a marine protected area.
Our blue solution is climate change mitigation. And, this is a community-based initiative in Kenya. Our main activity is to conserve the mangrove ecosystem, which has been integrated for quite a long period of time. Through the conserving, community can earn incentive from this conservation that they are doing. And this has been one of the successful blue solution activities or projects in Kenya. There are so many other countries that they want to replicate the same, and they refer Coco Pamoja as their pilot project.
My name is Mirjam de Koning, and I really consider myself as a conservation practitioner. And I really like to work with protected area staff and local people, as you can really feel their passion and pride for the areas they live and work in. And being at work in the protected areas is really the best part of my job. Now, let me talk about my Panorama solution. It's from Southeast Asia, and more specifically from Hinnamno National Park. It's part of the absolutely stunning, beautiful Annamite mountain range. And what makes Hinnamno so unique? It's an area of about 94,000 hectares. It mostly comprises pristine karst forest, and together with Ponyakibang in Vietnam, it's the largest protected tropical karst area in the world. It provides pristine forest habitats and acts as a refuge for vast biodiversity. I started to work in Hinnamno since 2011. I was the project director of a GIZ project from 2013 to 2016, and we tried to establish a co-management system for the Hinnamno National Park. At the start, the project team had quite limited understanding how to set up such a system. They worked with the protected area authorities on the objectives, but there was limited interaction or involvement of the local stakeholders or local people. From 2013 onwards, we really started to work on the co-management system by setting up a model in which we worked actively together between the management authorities and the local people. We did that by starting with a governance assessment and professionalizing, first of all, the organizational structure. Then we also created special units working on conservation, outreach, livelihoods, and tourism. I got to know about Panorama platform when I was invited by the GIZ to submit a solution, and it really forced me to reflect on the experience we gained over the last 3 years and how to break it down in the different building blocks and success factors. The building block 1 was about participatory zonation, using customary rights and knowledge. And then the second building block, it's highlighting how local people with their traditional knowledge helped the authorities with the conservation work on the ground. Building block 3, it explained the participatory governance assessment and how we did that. And it was followed by building block 4, which highlighted the improved protected area management structure and the co-management system. And in the end, building block 5 explained the importance of having the co-management model legally established and also having legal agreements telling who is doing what and stipulating roles and responsibilities of the partners involved. I asked my Lao translator to translate this piece, my solution. And once I presented it to my colleagues and the counterparts, the results was just overwhelming and unexpected, because the Lao people came up with the idea to produce a training of trainers manual so that we could present our work to other conservation practitioners in the country. The Lao people loved the methodology as it summarized our 3-year work in really just a few slides with a lot of pictures, very simple and concise. And once the solution was published on the Panorama platform, the entire team was extremely proud.
Panorama mobilizes the involvement of an increasing number of organizations, at present including GIZ, IUCN, UNDP, UNEP, RARE, Grid Arendal, ICROM, ICOMOS, IFOAM, Organics International, and the World Bank, in support of collating and analyzing solutions drawn from proven case studies.
Panorama is organized into 10 thematic communities, including restoration, species conservation, One Health, conservation areas, blue, ecosystem-based adaptation or EBA, agriculture and biodiversity, business engagement, cities, and nature culture.
Panorama contributes to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, the post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework, and the Climate Change Adaptation and Mitigation Goals as defined under the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change and the Paris Agreement.
We welcome new partners, solutions, and new areas to expand our communities. Share your solutions for a healthy planet today.
Today, I would like to share with you about our initiatives with UNDP and others that contributes to a vision of sustainable self-governing communities, about inspiring alternatives to sustainability and leadership of indigenous communities, about struggles and democratic challenges that we are facing today. To support and strengthen the vision of communities, AIPP established the Indigenous Knowledge and Peoples of Asia. This network has brought together several community champions as a network in a few countries, and it is expanding. The work they do ranges from knowledge documentation and revitalization of forest restoration, watershed management, ecosystem restoration, strategy for avoiding land degradation, women's livelihood cooperatives, and village economy, etc. Some of these examples are Women's Forest Initiative in Thailand that demonstrate women's contribution and leadership in conservation. Watershed conservation like the Metum watershed area in Thailand, or the Dusun Keo community who are settled at the base of Mount Kinabalu. They were once a nomadic tribe, but when they came across a beautiful water spring in Mount Kinabalu and they drank from it, they were satisfied never as before. And a bird called Keo in their local language sang beautifully at that moment. They saw this as a sign for them to settle and protect that area, so they did. We also see the protection of the riverine ecosystem, the forest ecosystem protection, known as the Tagal system in Malaysia, which is being recognized by governments today. Further in Vietnam, revitalization of indigenous knowledge, such as herbal medicines and food, healing systems, art and crafts, etc. All these are also not just being documented, but used for revitalization for educational purposes and intergenerational transmission of indigenous knowledge involving women, youth, and elders. Communities are also establishing cooperatives and village economy following the seasonal cycle. For example, the Hinlatnai community in Thailand, they sell tea during the wild tea season. They harvest and sell bamboo worms and shoots during that season, and they sell fruits during fruit season, and they harvest and plant and do the rituals following the seasonal cycle of their lifestyle. So a whole village economy is also being established following the traditional lifestyle of their community. We see all these communities as center of excellence and sustainable self-governing communities. Using the success stories as evidences for advocacy at the local, country, and global levels, we have made some achievements, especially at the global level. However, we are also challenged with the shrinking of civic space, meaning shrinking of rights-based spaces. This is an evidence that we are in a democratically challenged societies today. Civic space itself has never been homogeneous or civil, rather violent sometimes, and indigenous peoples have always been placed at the bottom of the social hierarchy, and more indigenous peoples are being killed with no access to justice. So if we are to achieve the universal vision of living in harmony with nature, civic space has to be reconceptualized where the ecosystem of cultures and peoples relate to one another, and with the state as individuals, associations, and indigenous nations. In other words, governance must be democratized, recognizing the autonomy and self-organizing principles of nature, people, and nations. And the sustainable self-governing communities that I mentioned are examples we must emulate to build a sustainable, pluralistic, and democratic societies. Thank you.
Para nosotros el bosque, la tierra, es vida. Porque tiene vida, nos da vida. La selva es nuestro mercado. Ahí buscamos alimentos, hojas, frutas, todo lo que es de consumir, de comer. Ahí está la fuerza, el poder de nuestra vida. Que cultura occidental habla, que habla, que habla. Piensa, que piensa, que piensa. Escribe, que escribe, que escribe. Más escriben, poco hacen. Entonces así no podemos caminar. Pero en cambio la actitud de los indígenas es hablar y hacer rápido. Con la nueva generación que son los niños. Con ellos deben empezar dando una educación natural, una educación ambiental, una educación de la vida.
C'est pour cela que je me bats, non seulement pour mes enfants, mais pour les enfants de mes enfants, pour perpétuer ce qui est notre mode de vie, qui est notre identité. Je ne veux pas perdre mon identité. Et c'est le cas de tous les Bororo. C'est le cas de tous les peuples autochtones. Je me bats pour ma vie, pour ma communauté. Je me bats pour protéger cet environnement, pour protéger ma mode de vie, ma culture, ma connaissance.
Nuestra madre tierra está rugiendo, está enferma y necesitamos repararla, necesitamos sanarla. Pero esta reparación y cómo sanarlo depende de todos nosotros. Depende de que se reconozcan nuestros derechos como pueblos indígenas, como mujeres, y que en nosotras está esas soluciones de buena práctica para solucionarlo.
La unidad hace todo lo posible. La igualdad social nos hace triunfo en la vida. Integridad con la madre tierra nos hace hermosa la tierra. Así que, hermanos, unimos los tres conceptos, la hermandad, la igualdad, la unidad. Cambiemos la casa común, vestimos a la Madre Tierra en verde, hermosa, que ella vuelva a danzar como ha danzado en nuestros tiempos de los abuelos, que ella vuelva a cantar, que ella vuelva a sentir el calor de su hijo, de su hija, el amor a la tierra.
In this session, we've learned that local action in protecting, restoring, and sustainably managing nature is happening all around us. In fact, local action is essential. A third of the planet, or more than 43 million square kilometers, is owned or governed by Indigenous peoples and local communities. These lands are critical. They safeguard immense stores of terrestrial and marine carbon. They protect habitat to more than a third of the world's most important places for biodiversity. They provide drinking water for much of humanity, and they safeguard our global climate. Simply put, without local action on nature, we cannot achieve our climate, biodiversity, or the Sustainable Development Goals. This celebration of the Equator Prize winners, of 30 years of local action by the Small Grants Program, and of efforts to scale up and accelerate local action, they inspire us. And they give us hope that with the leadership of Indigenous peoples and local communities, we can indeed create a planetary safety net. Thank you for joining this session on Catalyzing Local Action. And stay tuned as we start the next session on creating a planetary safety net.